Hello there everyone, how you doing today? I hope you're all well. Welcome to Oh No! Consequences? Where we read stories about people getting wonderful, well-deserved consequences for their actions, and they do not seem to be aware enough that they bring things upon themselves. If you enjoy, remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Now, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Am I the butthole for walking away from a house I have no equity in or say and stiffing my soon-to-be ex? Before we got married, my in-laws sat me down and explained that I was never going to be on any paperwork for the house they helped my fiancé purchase as a wedding gift. They insisted on an ironclad prenup. I got a lawyer and made sure I was protected as well. After we got married, I contributed to the expenses of our household 50-50, mortgage and everything. It was a little more than I got paid in rent and utilities, but I figured we were building a future together. I make a decent living as a welder and I do not own a lot of stuff. I have a truck, a welding lid, a laptop, and some clothes. Before I met my wife, I lived at Airbnbs and all-inclusive resorts. I work 4 weeks and get 2 weeks off. It didn't make sense to rent a house that could sit empty for a month at a time. I have helped my wife upgrade, renovate, and furnish the house. I'll give a simple example. We bought a very nice sectional. I paid for half up front by giving the money to my wife. She then bought it on her credit card to get the points. After that, it wasn't my problem anymore. I recently found out that she had been seeing her ex when I'm out of town. I do not play that game. I will never compete for a woman, and I do not forgive cheating. So last time I came home from work, I stayed at an Airbnb. I took the time to see a lawyer and initiate our divorce. When my time off was done, I went back to work. My next break is after the new year, and I will be going to an all-inclusive. Neither this last time or from now on did I or will I be giving her any money. The problem is that she didn't use the money I gave her to pay down on the mortgage or her credit card bill. She blew it on other stuff, and now she is in a bind. My money made her lifestyle possible. By just leaving and not engaging, she is kinda screwed. But there is nothing there for me anymore. We don't even have a dog like I wanted to because she would have to care for him while I was away. So all I left behind was a suit I only bought for our wedding, some gym clothes, and my dress shoes once again for the wedding. She, her family, and her friends are all over me to help her during our divorce. I have no obligation to do so though, and after our divorce, even less so. I can literally live out of my suitcase and my backpack. My only living expense beyond housing is long-term packing for my truck. Sorry, I missaid that. Parking for my truck. Even my mom seems to think I'm screwing her over and punishing her too harshly. I personally cannot believe my mom would take her side, but my parents' divorce was really antagonistic, and their inability to communicate led to both of them being much worse off than if they cooperated and ended things amicably. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole. Let the ex chip in. As you noted, her family was very specific about protecting her financially in the prenup. Just refer everyone back to that. I hope you kept the receipts in case it gets messy. Someone in the comments says below that he has none. He gave her cash and she brought the stuff on her card. He's doing exactly what he should in this scenario, which is to walk away. If she tries to make it messy, the judge will just laugh at her after reading the prenup and the fact that she was the one caught cheating. She's not going to get alimony, especially when she's got the house 100% and he's not fighting for his half that he put in. I agree with the commenters on that one. He's doing exactly what he should, and I wish him the best of luck in the future. Now on to the next story. Am I the butthole for mocking a rude man in public? I'm a 37 female. The Popeyes I go to has an entirely Mexican staff. It's always very busy in there. They always seem backed up and understaffed like most fast food places. One of the workers is a Mexican lady who doesn't speak English that well. I had already gotten my food and was sitting in the corner, facing the front of the store. I watched an older man, about 50 or so, come in. The Mexican lady came up to take his order, and he asked her a question about one of the menu items. I don't even remember the question. It was something about an ingredient used in one of the sauces. She said she wasn't sure about the answer in broken English. And then he loudly started moaning about how no one here speaks English, and started calling out to the back of the employee area, going, "Anyone speak English here?" The lady went to get the manager, but he was busy taking drive-thru orders. A few minutes later, while the man huffed and grumbled to himself the entire time, the manager came over and answered his questions about the sauce, then rang him up. The entire time he was ringing the guy up, he was complaining about how none of their staff speak English. The manager did speak English much better than his other employees. This is when I loudly said, "Wah! Wah!" imitating a baby crying, and I put my hands beside me by my eyes in the crying motion. The man turned around and said, "Are you talking to me?" I said, "Yeah, I'm talking to you," then said, "Wah, wah, no one here speaks English, no one speaks English," in a mocking way. The man was flabbergasted and argued with me for quite a while, but didn't approach me. I told him she does speak English, and when she didn't know the answer to your question, she went and got an employee that did know. You just had to wait a few minutes, but you're fine, you big baby. I continued to make baby crying sounds at him until he left with his orders. I don't feel bad about what I did, but I'm curious to know what other people think. I should note he wasn't calling the workers names or yelling at them, just being mildly annoying the way he was constantly muttering and shaking his head like it was such an injustice. Someone in the comments says, "My favorite response to this is, she speaks 2 languages. How many do you speak?" One of my favorite jokes. What do you call someone who speaks 3 languages? Trilingual. What do you call somebody who speaks 2 languages? Bilingual. What do you call somebody who speaks 1 language? American. Okay, narrator here. As an American who only speaks 1 language because I cannot begin to even comprehend other languages, it just makes my brain short circuit. I feel very attacked by that one, but it's not like I'm going to be an asshole about it. That man took it way too far. Anyway, on to the next story. This one is from Best of Redditor Updates, but I think it fits the subject of this subreddit well enough. OOP decides to divorce her husband over an emotional affair. OOP's STBX makes a post denying any responsibility. I don't know if ages are required or relevant here, but I'm 29, my husband's 29, his colleague is 36, and her husband is 34. My husband and I have been together for 4 years. I love him very much. Even now that I want a divorce, I still love him. I found out about it like 3 months ago about his colleague when I visited his office and she was there. Apparently they have been working together for 5 years and they're very good friends, and yet I've never heard about her until I saw her. Something didn't feel right at all. Now, I was paying attention to his texting habits, and yes, he does text her almost every evening, and a few times a day on weekends or when he's working from home on vacation. I asked him why I never heard about this good friend of his, and he said we rarely talked about work since I never understood the field. I hate playing games, so I told him it was still very odd that I've never heard about somebody he was on daily contact with. He gave me his phone and said that they haven't been on a daily contact constantly, but came in waves when she's having trouble at home. I read their conversations, and it's a lot of joking around, calling each other cute names, her complaining about her sex life jokingly, her asking intimate questions about me, her asking if I threw a good birthday party for him. His birthday was on June 14th, and this text stuck with me because he was texting her at the party and she answered, "You must be bored at your own party, or you wouldn't be texting me instead of being with her." I told him I didn't find this back and forth texting appropriate, and I considered it flirting. He was taken aback, but said he would stop if it bothered me so much. A month later, it has started gradually again, and I showed him that I wasn't happy about it. This time he came home with her to let her reassure me that nothing's happening between them. She was very ironic and disrespectful. According to me, that's her sense of humor, according to him. She was smirking and basically telling me that I had low self-esteem and felt threatened by their friendship. It wasn't her fault. When she left, I told my husband that I never wanted to see or hear anything from or about her anymore, and that if he'd rather have her as a friend than me as a wife, that he should say so, and they stopped texting. We had 3 weeks vacation and we spent it in Santoni. She probably texted 2 to 3 times a day. He answered her at the end of the day when I was in the shower or something. When I asked him why, he said she had marriage problems. I asked him if he was a marriage counselor on top of his career, and he just laughed it off. When we came back home from Santoni, we still had 1 week of vacation left. We went for a dinner and a movie. She probably knew because she was at the same restaurant later. We exchanged hellos and she asked if we wanted to join them. I said yes. She was very pleasant and asked about our vacation, touching my husband in a quote-unquote friendly way. Then I asked how it was with them because I've heard from my husband they were having marriage problems. All 3 froze. Her husband asked, "What? Who said that?" And I answered that it was my husband who told me. My husband tried to explain with some dumb excuse, and I said, "You showed me the text she sent every day about her having problems, but that I was sorry if I got the wrong idea." And she looked very angry at my husband. When we got home, he told me I was out of line. I had had enough by then, and I asked him if they had slept together, and he said only once before he even met me. Holy shit. I told him that I wanted divorce because I'm thinking they're having an affair. At least an emotional one at most. At least. He denied it and called me silly wanting a divorce over text with a friend. But now I've been thinking about it for 2 weeks, and I am adamant about my decision. I want a divorce. We're not fighting, but I asked him to move to the living room, and I have refused intimacy and any type of physical connection. I spend more time out of the apartment. Work out, long walks. I spend a lot of time in the library or the movies alone, and when I come home, I've already eaten dinner. I just take a big shower and go to bed. I have spoken to my mother about everything I've written here, and she thinks I'm making a big fuss about nothing. And my in-laws have heard about me asking for divorce from my husband, and they also think I'm making a big fuss. I haven't told anyone else yet because I'm not prepared to hear how immature and rushed my decision is. He hasn't tried to talk about compromise, stop being her friend, marriage counseling, and even find another job or move to another city, but my guts are telling me something is very, very off, and that my marriage shouldn't be this hard, especially this early. Some notable comments. I would be feeling the exact same way. Trust has been lost, respect for you has been lost, and the fact he brought her to your home so you could meet her. I'm glad you got those comments in with her husband. Good luck to your future, and I am positive you'll be much better off, and I am sending good vibes. OP said, I thought about that too. He's known her for 5 years and me for 4 years, yet I have never heard about her until 3 months ago. Someone so close to him that she could openly discuss her sex life with? No. I'm confused why they were upset when he brought up the marriage problems. Did she expect him not to share things with his wife? I don't know. Divorce seems rushed if you still love him. OP said, she probably didn't know he told me or that she wasn't discussing problems in her marriage with even her own husband because he looked dumbfounded. And another comment said, Damn, girl, that's a queen move with the restaurant scene. You got him like deers in headlights. In my opinion, you're doing the most mature thing a scorned wife could ever do. And outing them in front of her husband was a good move. Maybe it wasn't intentional on your part, but that's still the best way to do it. It's never too early for a divorce. You've had a gut feeling, and it turned out to be right. Your mom and in-laws were just speaking as moms would do. But I am rooting for you, OP. You deserve a good ma. OP said, I was provoked by the touching like they were on a date. And right now and her husband were chaperones or something. This woman is after your husband and is obviously not opposed to it. You are completely right. OP said, that was what I told him in one of our last talks, that she's after him, and he's at the very worst reciprocating her feelings, and at best, just enjoying the attention. Even that, at the best, it is far from what I'm comfortable with. He said he is neither, and I told him that he should stop lying to himself, because I am not buying it. At least have the decency to be truthful to yourself. Other OP's STBX posted his take today here. He originally looks for sympathy, but he finds none in the comments. My wife's leaving because she thinks I'm unfaithful with my married coworker. I'm not. She wrote a post here that went viral, and now she got all the reassurance she needed to believe that she's doing the right thing. She's the kindest, gentlest, funniest, and most beautiful girl I've ever met, and I'm all hers. I love her, and I've never loved anyone like her. I'm hers, mind, body, soul, heart, everything like that. Everyone who knows us is shocked. Everyone who's seen us together and been around us is saying she's lost her marbles. Yet she trusted internet strangers to tell her bad news? And then there's some notable comments. Are you the dude who brought home the bitchy married coworker to gaslight your wife? Are you the one who continued to text the coworker even after she told you it was making her uncomfortable? The guy who slept with his married coworker before your wife even met you? Yeah, dude. That's a fuck ton of nope from me. That was so stupid and I apologized. Being stupid and being a cheater are not the same. Honestly, man, if you're not actually physically cheating, you're 100% emotionally cheating. What does emotionally cheating even mean? I have no feelings for my coworker. Not even before I met my wife. She didn't tell me she was married and we had sex on my first day at work. I was 24. Okay, so, no feelings for my coworker. We had sex on my first day at work. Okay, so you, my friend, gotta pick one. It sounds like you felt something. Even if it was just little, you calling the shots. I was explaining why I did a married woman. I didn't know she was married. You can do people with having any feelings towards them. And then somebody commented, did you make this post to try and change your wife's mind? And then he responded without any hesitation, yes! I love her and I've never loved anyone like her. But you don't love her enough to respect boundaries and not text your coworker anymore. She said you offered to move jobs or move cities, but you're only offering that because she said she's leaving you. Why is it that men only understand women when the consequences of their behavior come back around and smack them in the face? You've made your bed, and now lie in it. And there's plenty of other comments, but let's just read the last one and then we'll call it. I don't want this type of relation. Oh wait, no. There's an update I missed. Okay, hang on. Notable comments on other OP's post after the X posted. I know you're not changing your mind, but what he's done so far to rectify the situation? Has he cut her off or not? Is he telling her all about this problems with you? Since apparently they bonded over that. Has he told her husband that she cheated on him with your husband? OP said, "He's not doing anything to rectify the situation. He's just denying any wrongdoings, not even acknowledging that he was enjoying her friendship and or the attention he's getting from her. That's not the way to solve problems. You at least confess to a lesser charge to be credible. He's panicking and begging, and it's hard to experience because I'm not heartless and I do love him and I hate seeing him in pain." Someone comments, "Is he still trying to win you back?" Yes, he is panicking and very distraught. I feel sorry, but I can't help him. He must understand that this is over, and the best way to do it is to be firm. You don't think him leaving the job and blocking her with some counseling is worth trying? OP says, "I don't want this kind of relationship, to be honest. I don't want to be the one telling him this is wrong. I don't want someone who doesn't take my feelings seriously until it's too late either. It's the most difficult decision I've ever taken, and it hurts so much because I miss him, but sometimes we need to make difficult decisions." She has set her boundaries multiple times and he still violated it and even gaslighted her. That's enough. I don't want to have a husband who can't see how wrong it is keeping a friendship with someone you've had history with from his girlfriend or wife for years. And I don't want to have a husband who doesn't do right until everything is lost. That is the end of today's story video. If you enjoyed, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. If you did stick around till now, I give you smooch. Thank you. I will see you all next time. Maybe consider checking out the playlist of Reddit stories. See you next time.